Hey guys, John from the John Muir Show here, and it's not going to be any earth-shattering news to say that the past few years have not been too good for Democrats when it comes to the Supreme Court of the United States. Of course, President Trump has gotten to make a pair of nominations to the Supreme Court, both of them which ended up getting confirmed by the Senate, now Justice Neil Gorsuch and now Justice Brett Kavanaugh. And it's a couple of conservative justices, and that is something that all Americans should be excited about, because of course the term conservative justice is not referring to some justice who's going to get on the court and be some sort of partisan Republican. Not at all. Conservative justice merely means it's someone who's going to do their job, who is going to uphold the law of the land, uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, regardless of their personal beliefs. I mean, heck, Brett Kavanaugh, he's only been on the court for a few months, and we've already seen rulings where Brett Kavanaugh has put his own personal beliefs aside and done what he believes is best based on the Constitution, even though it's not what a lot of Republican voters would have personally wanted, showing that the system is working. That's what you get from a conservative justice, which is quite frankly what all of us should want, but sadly we so often do not get the same from liberal justices, because we have seen so many a time, especially in recent years at really all levels of our judicial system, that liberal justices are individuals who do not care about what is stated in the Constitution of the United States or whatever laws it is that they're supposed to be interpreting. No. Instead, we have individuals who care about only one thing, and that is advancing the Democrat Party platform from the bench. And as we have said so many a time on the John Muir Show, no party's agenda should ever be advanced from the bench. It is the totally most inappropriate place for that to be happening. But that's what liberal justices do, and it seems that the Democrat Party, that is all they are willing to accept. They don't want justices who will uphold the Constitution regardless of personal beliefs. That is not good enough for them, as we've seen with the staunch opposition that came to Brett Kavanaugh's nomination just late last year. No, they only want individuals who are going to help them from the judicial branch. So that's what they keep on going for. And now that we've gotten into the 2020 election cycle, now you've got this liberal group called Pack the Courts reaching out to all of the candidates, the individuals who are seeking the Democrat nomination for president in 2020, reaching out to all of these individuals and saying, hey, we've got a plan right here. We've got a plan as to how we could pack the courts and get rid of the current 5-4 conservative majority by just adding more justices to the Supreme Court of the United States. Will you candidates sign on to this? And what's so terrifying about this is we've already had, and this is only in the infant stages, we've already had a couple of candidates, Democrat Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, as well as the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, both saying that they're considering the idea. It's just appalling. That is not how you go about doing this. The answer is not, oh, well, we're currently, through totally legitimate means, in the minority. Well, let's just add more justices to the court, and then boom, all of a sudden, minority turns into majority. No. That is not how it works. That is not good for this country. There's a reason that we only have 9 justices on the Supreme Court. There was a Judiciary Act that was passed back in the late 1860s that set the number at 9. And it's been in place for more than a century and a half now, and there hasn't been any problems with it. And I mean, heck, there was even one attempt to try to pack the court that came from a Democrat president, Franklin Roosevelt, back in the 1930s. And fortunately, for the good of this country, that effort failed, because we do not need to see our courts getting increasingly politicized. But that's what this group is trying to do, this Pack the Courts, say, hey, Democrats, promise us that if you become the next president of the United States, you're going to help us pack the courts. It would be terrifying for the country going forward, because of course it wouldn't stop there. That would set the precedent going forward. Every single election, okay, if whoever wins the presidential election, if they have a minority on the Supreme Court, well, they're just going to go packing the court and adding more, and that number is going to keep taking off, and it is the absolute worst thing that could happen to the Supreme Court of the United States. So we can only hope that this plan does not succeed. But sadly, as we're already seeing, because of how far left so many of these candidates for president on the Democrats' side are, that they're willing to do just about anything, no matter how bad it is for the country, that they're at least willing to entertain this idea. And I'm sure that only more will be signing on to this as time goes along, because they think that's what it takes to win the far left primary they're engaged in. But hey, it would be nice If these folks, these pack the courts individuals and these Democrats running for office who would consider packing the courts, if they would just say, okay, look, this is the United States of America. In the United States of America, how are we supposed to do things? Oh yeah, we're supposed to let the people speak during elections. And you know what? If the citizenry of the United States decides that it wants more liberals on the Supreme Court, you know what they can do? They can go out there and elect liberal presidents, they can elect liberal senators in years to come, and knowing that those individuals, when the opportunity arises, will put liberals on the Supreme Court. But until that day comes, all of these individuals who are calling for packing the court, why don't you grow up and why don't you shut the hell up? Because what you're saying is incredibly dangerous for this country. And that's all the time that we have for today, but tune into the John Muir Show each and every weekday, 8:40 a.m. on WTAQ, 9 a.m. WSAU and WHBL. Till next time, I'm out.